Happy Monday and welcome back, my friends. It has been a very long 2 weeks being inundated with everything Age of Sigmar, but 40k is back, baby. Maybe not in a huge way, but now that Skaventide has been released, expect some more 40k content. We don't have a ton to cover today, but we do have some pre-orders to go over, as well as some new story that was released, so let's get into it.
There is no peace amongst the stars, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war.
So if you've been following my channel for a little bit, you know that my primary focus is getting people into 40k, getting them acclimated, and with the base knowledge of the lore. Which is probably why I'm so into 30k, because it's the origin story of the entire timeline. And weirdly enough, a game like Necromunda has never been on my radar. I've played the video game Necromunda Hired Gun, which is okay as far as RPG shooters go, but that is the extent of my knowledge on it. But after some conversations at my local store and talking with my friends, I might need to reconsider looking into Necromunda as a starting place for people into 40k. It is a microcosm of Imperial society as a whole, and you can still be introduced to factions that are somewhat similar to the ones that you would experience in 30k or Horus Heresy. All that to say, we have some more news on the Necromunda expansion coming, Hive Secundus. The main pre-order for this new edition has already been up, but they're coming out with a book called the Book of Desolation. This includes 4 new gang rosters, a new Under Hells campaign, as well as more story for Necromunda. This is a game that's standalone as well as very character heavy, so if that interests you, go ahead and check it out. Moving on from Necromunda, we have a book going up for pre-order this Saturday. Now this isn't a new book, in fact it's a classic guard book by Steve Lyons called Dead Men Walking. It features one of the most popular guard regiments out there, the Death Corps of Krieg, fighting against Necrons that they found on a mining world. It's being re-released in a premium special edition that matches the special edition of the Siege of Rax. And I couldn't immediately find any proof before making this video, but I'm pretty sure the Krieg novel has a special edition or is getting a special edition that also matches these two. Steve Lyons is a fantastic author, and the Kriegsmen are some of the more interesting guard characters. Like every premium and special edition, this will be limited in copies, so if you're a big Krieg fan, make sure you log on early. Alright, the last thing to talk about on today's docket is going to be a short story that Games Workshop released on the Warhammer community page. There are never too many of these, so I'm always paying attention when they drop. This one in particular is called Chalnath Dispatches at All Costs. Now I won't read the entire thing, but here's a quick synopsis. The Imperium, like always, is beset by enemies. This is at the height of the era Indomitus, when Crusade fleets and Soulblade fleets are going out into the galaxy and trying to reclaim what the Imperium had lost, and shoring up the defenses of what they currently have. So the Chalnath Dispatches is a short story and communique between several higher-ups in the Astra Militarum and Imperial Navy. Now the most interesting part of this story happens within the first opening paragraph. An Astra Militarum higher-up known as General Key expresses right off the bat that the Tau have invaded out of nowhere in the Cassandra system. And not only have they invaded this system and threatened 3 others, but they are using their Startide Nexus in order to do so. Besides the Shadow Sun novel, this is the first time we've really seen the Tau use the Startide Nexus for its intended purpose of invading further into the galaxy. General Key and several other officers then argue about how they are going to stem the tide of Tau rushing into the Cassandra system. And in true Imperium fashion, they look at all of their available assets and decide which ones they need to leave behind. After a while, they decide they're going to pull their best troops from the fighting on the agri world of Wildreach and use them to shore up the defenses of the Cassandra system. It's expressed that in this system there is what is known as the Alpha Asset, something that they need to go and retrieve at all costs. Now, it's not explicitly stated which forces were pulled in order to do this. The name of the force is actually redacted in this communique. They mention that the force is involved in what is known as Operation Vortex and is led by a Tempestor, leading me to believe that this is a bunch of Tempestus Scions. This is further backed up in my eyes when the Stratego Primaria expresses that these troops are fanatical and brutal and the best of the best. And though that could mean several factions within the Imperium, I think the Tempestor piece mentioned earlier solidifies that this is some Scions. And that is the end of the communique, them condemning Wildreach and sending this mysterious force to go get the Alpha Asset. But what does this random lore drop mean? First of all, this is huge for the Tau. This proves that they can use the Startide Nexus effectively and become a threat because of it. It also still shows that even with the return of Guilliman and the Indominus Crusade and the return of the Lion, the Imperium is still having a really hard time. Now I'm hoping that this will lead into a new Tau novel, but most likely this is a lead up into a new campaign book, possibly a new installation in the Crusade series. The first Crusade book was called Tyrannic War, the second was called Pariah Nexus. What's to stop the third from being called the Startide Nexus? But as always, with anything Games Workshop, with anything lore related, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But that's gonna about do it for today, my friends. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this short story in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one.